Well, tonight, Ohio Secretary of State is urging Kent State to cancel an event featuring actress and activist Jane Fonda. Fonda is scheduled to speak at the upcoming 50th commemoration of the May 4th shooting. Lynna Lai reports.
It is a moment in history forever linked to Kent State University. May 4th, 1970, 4 unarmed students killed by the Ohio National Guard during a mass protest. And on the 50th anniversary of the shootings,
children are more important than fossil fuel profits.
Controversy over actress and activist Jane Fonda as Kent State's featured speaker with the university, paying her $83,000. Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose now urging the university to cancel her speech, tweeting, "The anniversary of this tragedy is not the time to pay a speaker who betrayed our service members. Just my perspective as a veteran." On the campus tonight.
You know who she is?
No, not really.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a student who even knows who Jane Fonda is.
It's sort of a generational thing.
Parasite.
The now 82-year-old Oscar winner still active on the red carpet and getting arrested for her protests on climate change. But it's her arrest in Cleveland in 1970 that's iconic of her protests against the Vietnam War. And this image in Vietnam on an anti-aircraft gun in 1972 gave her the nickname Hanoi Jane.
I think that we can learn from differing values and differing beliefs.
In a statement, the university said in part, "We take to heart the painful feeling expressed by those for whom Fonda's visit to Hanoi had a profound impact. We are equally moved by those who express their high regard for Fonda's atonement after the incident and her lifelong activism in support of human rights and civil rights." The university says that $83 grand is the going rate for speakers of Fonda's caliber and that the money will come from unrestricted funds, not from tuition dollars. Fonda speaks on May 3rd. It's free to the public, but all the tickets for the event have already been taken. Sarah?
Does not sound like they're changing course here.
That's correct.
All right. Thanks, Lena.
Sure.